Right, we are live. We are live. What is good? Is the audio good? Camera quality good? Let me know in the chat. What's good? An apple? What's good? Eel? I'm not gonna lie, I haven't eaten lunch yet today, so I got my sandwiches here. A lot of people have been asking me what I eat in a day. I probably shouldn't do all of this talking before you confirm that the audio is good, but I'll just assume that everything's good. A lot of people have been asking me what I eat in a day, so this right here is what I eat for lunch pretty much every day. I eat 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day, 80 grams of peanut butter, 46 grams of jelly, and then, what is that? 4 slices, what? 4 slices of toast. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this down while I do this stream. And I would advise you to get some food too. Let's eat together, bro. We're just hanging out. White powdery substance was good. How do I start acting mad light skin, yo? Hey, bro. I'm the wrong person to ask that question. I have no idea. Audio is good. All right, I appreciate that. Neuronics, am I saying that right? Was good, bro. Josh the Great King. Hello, me. I am trying to lose weight. All right, look, let me put you on game. If you want to lose weight, you need to burn more calories than you consume. So let's say, for example, these sandwiches right here, right? Let me just look at my food app. You got to track your calories too. It sounds tedious. I know it sounds tedious. I promise it's so much easier than you think. So look, this is my lunch. I hope you can see that. But this right here is my lunch. 860 calories. This is 860 calories, 40 grams of protein. So I track that, right? Let's say, for example, let's say that this is the only thing I eat all day. I eat this 3 times. So what was that? 800 grams, I think? Or 800 calories times 3, 2,400 calories overall. So if you want to lose weight, let's say I wanted to lose weight, right? And I'm getting 2,400 calories a day. I need to burn more than 2,400 calories. If I burn more than 2,400 calories, I literally have no choice but to lose weight. The weight has to leave. So, and also the reverse is true if you're looking to gain weight. Now, how do you know how many calories you have to burn? Honestly, it's kind of trial and error because the app will tell you a suggested amount of calories to consume every day based on your activity level, but it can't really take into account your genetics, your metabolism, things like that. For example, I've been eating 3,600 calories a day and I still have not gained any weight in the past few weeks, bro. And my goal is to get to 185 by the end of the year. I'm 173. So I need to eat more calories, probably because I have a pretty fast metabolism. And because I burn a shit ton of calories throughout the day. But yeah, I kind of over-explained that, but I hope that gave you some clarity on losing weight. Hello, good day, Jordan. How are you today? I hope all is well. You should start playing your guitar at the intro of your live streams again. Eel, what's good with you, bro? I appreciate you for tapping in. I always appreciate your support, bro. Specifically, your support. I would, but I actually don't have my guitar. My guitar is back in Texas at my parents' house. So whenever I do streams there, because I will be going back to Texas for a few months pretty soon here, I can definitely start doing that again. Because I do miss playing guitar, bro. I don't even know if I could play anymore. That was just a whole thing. But I haven't played guitar since the day I left. The artist, what's good? It's beyond perfect. The audio, good, good, good. That's what I like to hear. Josh the Great King, I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're doing well. What's good, Golden? Okay, you told me how to pronounce your name. You told me how to pronounce your name in the last stream. I remember that. But I think I also told you that I'm probably still going to mess it up for a few streams. Was it Ngoma? Ngoma? I think that rings a bell. Tell me if I'm wrong. Gary Kaler, how can I get over my ex? So, in order to get over your ex, this right here, it took me so long to realize this, bro. So long, literally years. And I wasn't even trying to get over an ex-girlfriend. I was trying to get over somebody that I had never even been in a relationship with. Somebody that I had written books about, made videos about. So, the situation is a little bit different, but fundamentally, you need to understand that let's say, for example, you're 21 years old. I don't know how old you are, but let's say you're 21, just as an example. Let's say that you were with this woman from age 16 to age 19, right? So 3 years. What you need to understand is that there are how do I put this? You still have the 16, 17, 18, and 19-year-old Gary within you. So you're not just 21, you're 21, you're 20, you're 19, 18, 17, 16. In other words, the version of you who was in love with this girl is always going to be within you. That is a part of you now. That's part of your foundation. You can't change that. You can't get over this person in that way. But I'm about to shift your whole perspective. Okay, this is what worked for me. I was down bad, bro. If you were following my channel back then, you know I was down atrocious. So basically, you know now that, okay, that part of me is always going to be in love with that part of that person that I met or that I was with, right? But I'm going to assume, especially if you watch my content and if you're into self-improvement, that at 21, you're not the same person that you were at 19. You're just not. You are changing, you're evolving, and especially if you're young, you're probably evolving pretty rapidly. So what you need to understand is that as time goes on, you're going to change so much that even if you had the opportunity to get with this person again, it wouldn't be the same. It would basically be like starting all over with a stranger. And if it wouldn't be like starting all over with a stranger, well, then you'd get the same result. So that frame right there is literally what allowed me to move past this person who had prime real estate deep in my subconscious mind, was understanding that at a certain point, you're going to have evolved so much that you're probably not even going to be compatible with that person. At least no more compatible with that person than you would be any other woman in this world. So that's basically a long-winded way of saying that you have to give it time. I know that's not what you want to hear, but you can't force the process, bro. You just have to keep evolving and understand that over time, you're going to evolve so much that it wouldn't even make sense to get with this person again. And given that it's your ex, at least you had the opportunity to try being with this person. So you know that it didn't work and you know why it didn't work. In my situation, I had no closure. So I literally, for years, was just trying to find some type of way to reframe it to myself, to allow myself to get past this. And that's what allowed me to get past it. So I hope that you find that advice to be of great value to you, because if I could tell my younger self anything, that's probably what I'd tell him. How do we escape the social media doom scrolling loophole? Delete it. That's really what it comes down to, bro. Pattern interrupt. You are stuck in a pattern. You're stuck in a cycle where you're miserable. You don't like your life conditions. So you turn to social media to distract yourself from that fact. And because you're spending all of your time on social media instead of actually improving your life, and maybe you're even consuming content that makes you feel like you're improving your life, but you're really not. You're really just distracting yourself. Your life doesn't get any better. And because your life doesn't get any better, you feel really bad about your situation. Really, you feel even worse about your situation because your life is literally stagnating or getting worse. And you turn to social media even more. The only way to break that loop is to just delete it. Delete it, bro. If you don't have a very big following, or if it's not part of what you're doing with your career, then you have no excuse. Absolutely no excuse. I was actively looking to build a YouTube channel when I deleted my social media, and it actually helped me. It served me very, very well. I mean, as you can see, it served me very, very well because it allowed me to put all of my focus and attention on YouTube. So just delete it, bro. Just delete it. And if you're going to use it in a professional capacity, here's what I do. So I have an Instagram, but I never have Instagram on my phone. I always do everything through the desktop. But let's say, for example, if I need to create an Instagram story, I can't do that on the desktop. I can only do that on my phone. So I re-download the app, I make the story, and then I delete it again. I do not keep social media on my phone, bro. Just get rid of the temptation. And really, don't even just delete the apps, delete your accounts. Because I've noticed that nowadays, a lot of these social media platforms don't even allow you to explore the app without having a profile. So they really just made it easier for you. Oh, let me take another bite of this sandwich before it gets cold. Yo, Jordan, I'm struggling with loving myself and being single. I feel like I don't deserve love because of my upbringing. So, obviously, I can't go too in depth because I don't know much about your upbringing. I don't know about your relationship with your parents, things of that nature. And even if I did, honestly, that's not really in my realm of expertise as a life coach. That's more something that you would talk to with a therapist about. Or talk to a therapist about. But as far as loving yourself, here's the thing, okay? I used to preach this all the time on TikTok when I first got on TikTok back in the day when I was making content. And actually, this message is a big part of the reason why I blew up on there. But it's so critical, bro. You need to start moving as if you are already in a relationship. So a lot of people, what they do is they wait until they meet somebody to start living their lives and doing things that they like to do, because they don't want to be that guy who's at the movie theater alone. They don't want to be that guy who's going out to eat alone. They don't want to be that guy who's, I don't know, taking a walk in the park alone. But you need to become that guy, bro. You got to become that guy. You have to start taking actions to basically give yourself the sensation of already being in a relationship. And as far as deserving love, I think that that's a difficult one because that's something that I struggled with myself. And I don't really see a definitive turning point in my journey where I just suddenly began to think, oh, maybe I do deserve love. It was more of a gradual process of me consistently taking action to not only improve myself, but to do the things that I was just talking about, going out, watching the sunset by myself, or going out to eat by myself, and understanding that, listen, I have a limited amount of time on this earth. I can't be waiting around for somebody to just spontaneously emerge for me to start living my life. I got to live my life based on what I want to do. And when you do that, when you're being yourself, right? When you give yourself permission to be yourself and do the things that you want to do, in spite of the fact that you're single, you become much more likely, for one, to meet somebody with whom you're actually compatible. But on top of that, on top of being more likely to meet somebody, in a sense, you're already conveying to your mind that you deserve love because you're taking action in accordance with your deservingness of love. So even if you don't necessarily feel like you deserve love yet, if you're taking the actions, eventually your subconscious mind, your feelings are going to catch up. It's kind of like with YouTube. When I first started with YouTube, I didn't think that my advice was valuable. I didn't think that my content was good enough. I didn't think that I was good enough. But I just kept posting. And at a certain point, I mean, because I kept posting, my mind had to close the gap. My mind had to justify why I kept taking this action. So basically, start taking action. That's pretty much the essence, the sum and substance of what I'm saying. How do you find out what you want to do with your life? I'm 20 years old. I'm in college for computer science, and I don't like what I'm doing, and I feel like I am so behind in life. All my peers in high school are almost graduating, and I feel behind. Well, first of all, just because they're almost graduating doesn't mean that they're happy. I have a video coming out where I say this. I don't want to say the quote yet, but fuck it. Because you're in this stream, I'm going to just say it. Just because you're succeeding doesn't mean that you're winning in life. Don't let that go over your head. There are a lot of people in life who are succeeding, objectively succeeding. They have money, or they have these fancy job titles or whatever, vice president of this, senior chairman of that, but they hate their lives. They hate their lives. So when you compare yourself to people, you need to understand that you're comparing yourself based on your perception of their situation, not necessarily the reality of their situation. So, and plus, I mean, bro, you're literally 20 years old, which I understand. When you're 20, you think that, oh shit, I'm starting to get old. But once you realize that you're probably going to live into your 80s or 90s, I mean, you realize that, okay, even if you're 40 years old and you haven't quite figured it out yet, that's okay. Now, as far as how to figure out what you want to do with your life, that's one of those things that I don't know that I can literally just give you your purpose right now. That's one of those things that I would preferably work with you long term on. So if that's something that you would like to do, then click the link in the description and you can learn more about my coaching program, because one of the things that I will be doing in there is helping young men like yourself who are lost in life discover their life purposes and pursue their life purposes. But if you're not going to do that, then let me just say this. Figure out what you love to do. Write all of them down, all of your passions. Figure out what you're naturally gifted at. Another way of saying that would be figure out the things that are obvious to you, but not to other people. So, for example, if you're a painter, painting where to put this color on the canvas is likely more obvious to you than it is to other people, because I don't know shit about painting. Poetry is something that's obvious to me that may not be obvious to other people. Write all of those things down and see if you can find any overlap between the two. Your purpose is somewhere in the middle. And also, don't limit yourself on what your purpose can be, because your purpose might be something that you've never even heard of before. When I was 18, I didn't know what a life coach was. Maybe this isn't even my final purpose. Maybe there's something beyond this. But don't limit yourself, because for one, you might not even have been exposed to your purpose yet. 2, your purpose might not even exist yet. And 3, you don't really know what you're capable of. You really don't know what you're capable of. Because if you told me at 18 or 19 that I would be in this exact position at 24, I would be living in another country, the Netherlands. Where is the Netherlands? Bro, I couldn't even point the Netherlands out on a map. And now I'm just living here. And I would be making money online. And I mean, yeah. I don't know. That's crazy, bro. It's crazy. You never know what you're actually capable of until you start taking that action. That said, I lost my place in the in the chat. I don't know where I was. If I skip your If I skip your chat, then just send it again. I don't have a passion. How do I find it? So I feel like you just have to try different things, bro. You got to try different things. Sometimes it's not about pursuing your passion initially. Sometimes it's about pursuing your curiosity. So what are you curious about? What do you search up on Google the most? What questions do you ask yourself on a day-to-day basis? And you pursuing the answers to those questions can very quickly become a passion. So don't think that passion is something that you have to be born with. More often than not, it's something you develop. And a lot of times, let me say this as well. A lot of times your passion is directly tied to an area of perceived lack in your life. So it's something that gets you fired up. So let's say in my case, right? When I was younger, I would ask myself, how is it that some people are so successful and some people aren't? What's the difference? Because it seems like people who are successful, they might have a few common traits between them. Let me try to figure out what those common traits are so that I can give myself a better chance of being successful, because I can adopt those same traits. But then along the way, what I realized was, okay, I don't just want to make myself successful, I want to help other people become successful too, because that is extremely fulfilling. But it's not like I initially set out to be a life coach and help other people become successful, because I didn't even think I was capable of that. Let me guess, you were a stereotypical Chad in high school? Let me tell you something, bro. Hold on. Before I choke on this sandwich, let me tell you something, bro. If you put me in a room with people that I had literal classes with in high school, they probably wouldn't even recognize me. You'd be like, Jordan? Who's Jordan? I was basically, in high school, I basically would show up to school, right? Didn't talk to anyone other than my friends. I would get straight A's. So I'm doing my work, I'm taking my notes. But as far as socializing goes, I didn't do any kind of socializing with anybody who wasn't in my friend group, unless other people talked to me first. I was one of those kinds of kids. So as far as being a stereotypical Chad, absolutely not. Didn't play sports. I was basically invisible, bro, to be honest with you. I was literally just the quiet kid in class. I want to quit my job to become a full-time YouTuber, but I'm scared of putting my eggs in that one basket. Any advice? So here's the thing, okay? If you want to take that leap of faith, you need to understand that the longer you wait to take the leap of faith, the bigger the leap becomes, right? So imagine, I just came up with this cold analogy, right? So imagine you're standing here on this cliff, okay? You're on this cliff. There's another cliff right here. This is where your dreams are. There's no bridge in between. At least not to your knowledge. There's no bridge in between. You need to jump across this little chasm, this gap. And you might fall. It's possible. You might fall. But if you never jump, you'll never get this. You're never going to get to this side. This is the only way you can get there. The caveat is that with every second that passes by, the cliffs are actually moving. They're moving further apart from each other. So, in other words, the longer you wait, the further you're going to have to jump. The riskier it's going to be because you have less time to recover. So understand that. I'm assuming that right now your biggest concern is money. And understandably so. This life shit can be hard, bro, because those rent, invoices and all of that, bills, it doesn't stop. None of that stops once you become an adult. So definitely stack your bread up, get some money saved up if you haven't already. Set a specific number. Only you can know what this number is because I don't know what your current situation is. But set a number, a definitive number, that when you hit that number in your bank account, you are going to quit your job and you're going to go all in. Because even if, for whatever reason, it didn't work out, what would happen? Well, you would just go and get another job. Okay, so basically the worst case scenario is you end up back where you are right now. Except now you have the closure of knowing that you at least tried. But I think I kind of diverted from what I was saying. You're probably primarily concerned with money at the moment. You need to be more concerned about time. Because if you jump to that other side and you become a full-time YouTuber, I can personally attest that there is money on this side. You can make money with YouTube. So you can make up that difference in whatever money you might lose on the short term, on the front end, from quitting your job. What you can't make up for is the time that you will lose by not taking that leap of faith. I don't know if this is making sense to you, but basically, if you value your time more than your money, then you'll understand why it is imperative that you take this leap of faith as soon as you can. Keyword, can. Make sure you save some money up first, depending on your situation. I was diagnosed with cancer last week. Roberto, I am I don't even know what to say to that, honestly. I mean, I could sit here and say that I'm sorry to hear that, and I mean, fuck, dude, fuck, yeah, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I'll just say this, bro. You're gonna beat it. That's that. You're gonna beat it. You already won. And I want you to think about, here's what I want you to think about, Roberto. I want you to think about how much more inspiring your story is going to be as a result of this experience. You're going to be able to tell people that you beat cancer. Just think about that. Hold that vision in your mind. And I want you to think about how that will make you feel when you tell people that, when you ring that bell. I don't know if people still do that or whatever, but when you ring that bell, I want you to just visualize that and hold that feeling right here, no matter what. And the harder things get, the more inspirational it'll be. First, last, Jordan, do you remember me? Longtime subscriber? Of course. I definitely remember the name. First, last. It's very difficult to forget a name like that. Hey Jordan, long time no see. Just wondering if you've spoken or reached out to Ice Cold JT. Got news in his Discord server a while ago that he's quit doing social media. You know what? I haven't talked to JT since 2023. It's been a long time. And when I talked to him, he left me under the impression that he was going to be coming back to YouTube. So that's why I'm literally just as shocked as everybody else, because I don't know what's going on. JT is somebody who has so much potential with this YouTube thing, and I know he has the desire for it as well. That's something that he made abundantly clear, that he has a desire to create a YouTube empire. Those are the words that he used. I'm not going to speak too much more on our conversation, but he told me that word for word. So I don't know if it'll be this year. I don't know if it'll be next year. But JT, on the off chance that you're watching this, bro, just know that whenever you decide to come back, the people will be very, very, very happy to have you back. There's going to be some people who are just, oh, JT, you left, whatever. Forget about those people, bro. Forget about those people. I just got the Copenhagen beard kit. Oh my God. I don't know what that was. You love to see it, bro. You love to see it. Sometimes I wonder if I had just done it for longer, I wonder what the results would have been. But I like the goatee though. Oh my God. Whenever I delete social media, wait, I've only eaten a fourth of this. Okay, never mind. Whenever I delete social media, I always end up re-downloading it, using it for a couple weeks, deleting it, and then repeat. How do I get out of this cycle? Delete your accounts. Don't just delete the apps, but delete your accounts. And you're probably thinking, oh, well, what's going to happen with all my friends or whatever? There was a time when social media didn't exist. And you know what we did? we spoke in real life, or we talked on the phone. So, literally, there's no excuse, bro. Just delete your social media accounts and get your life back. And the thing is, bro, with social media, when you take about a month off, I want to say around 30-ish days from being away from social media, you don't really miss it anymore. You realize you're not missing out on anything. I don't feel the desire to get on TikTok or Instagram. For what? What am I gonna find there? So you just need to make it long enough for that. Hello, Jordan. Will you make a video about the cons of having a relationship? The cons of having a relationship. I don't even think that there are enough cons to make a full video. I mean, I can't think of any cons off the top of my head. Because the only cons that I would think of are things that would be more... they'd be more of a result of you being with the wrong person. So the biggest con of being in a relationship is that now you have to make decisions as a collective, as a unit. But if you're with somebody that you're on the same page with, that's not a problem. It's only an issue if you're with somebody who is on a completely different life trajectory than you are. Because what ends up happening is you have to compromise, but your compromise is so far off from what either of you want that you're both miserable and you both resent each other because you feel like you sacrificed your desires for this person. But if you're with somebody that has similar desires as you, then that's not an issue. Other than that, I can't think of anything that... like I said, the only cons of being in a relationship are things that you would experience if and only if you are with the wrong person. My problem is dealing with others' opinions. So, something that I've realized over the years is that this is just a part of who we are biologically. This is biologically embedded within us to crave approval from other people. But here's the thing. Being in this internet space has also taught me that you can't get everyone's approval. So if you get some people's approval, you're naturally going to be rejected by other people. This is just how it works. Because different people have different preferences. I was just thinking about this earlier. Things that would make me the man back home in the US would probably generate a lot of resentment here in the Netherlands if I operated in that same way. So think more in terms of whose opinions matter the most to you. And ideally, you will pick people who are on similar life trajectories as you are. Being a Mavs fan. Bro, let me tell you something. I tried rooting for Dallas because I'm from Dallas. Not born there, but I was raised there. I wanted to be a Dallas fan. I really wanted to. I just can't do it. See, when they do stuff like this shows me that they don't really want to win. They don't really want to win. How do you have Luka Doncic and trade him? I don't know. That's the craziest shit, bro. This is one of the first times, maybe the first time that I ever received basketball news that literally made me audibly gasp. One of those. What the fuck? One of those. This and when Kobe died. These are the only two times where I've genuinely been completely, utterly baffled by something related to basketball. Would you remain friends with someone who prioritizes another person, who is toxic, treats you badly, is superficial? I think you know the answer to that question already, bro. I've been studying for several tests, but recently got lazier due to being overwhelmed by expectations and deadlines. Be present. You're thinking too far ahead. You're trying to eat all of your meals in one day. What does that mean? Basically, you're going to eat a lot of meals throughout your life, but you can't eat all of them in one day. You can't even eat the next week's meals in one day. Take it one day, one meal, one bite at a time. Oh, I'm not going to lie. This sandwich isn't hitting anymore, bro. It's cold. I need these calories, though. Take it one thing at a time, bro. I know what it's like to be overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed with what I'm doing right now. I mean, back to doing daily uploads, starting a coaching program. I'm overwhelmed, bro, but I just take it one day at a time, one task at a time. Do you plan to stay in the Netherlands, or would you also like to move to another country? My girl and I have pretty much collectively decided that we'd like to move to another country. Right now, you gotta understand, we're in our 20s. We don't really want to settle down in one specific place. Me personally, I want to live in LA. That's the place that, if I had to settle down somewhere, it would be LA, with London being probably a close second, New York being a third, a somewhat distant third. But in the interim period between when we leave the Netherlands and when we move to LA or London or wherever we move to, I wouldn't mind living in Thailand or Spain or I don't know. I wouldn't mind continuing to travel to more places. If you didn't actively socialize, how did you get friends in the first place? So I had friends from elementary school. That's basically what it was, bro. Elementary school. In elementary school, I was maybe a bit more social. I was also kind of bad as a kid. I would talk and stuff like that, get in trouble. But even then, I don't think I initiated any of the friendships that I developed. And these are pretty much all still my friends to this day. So I guess, yeah, they closed the gap where it was just circumstantial. In school, I feel like it's easy because you're literally just there with these people for 8 hours a day. So even if you're not a very social person, especially in elementary school, because they group you all up they put the 4 desks in a group. That's probably how I met my friends, honestly. It's just circumstantial, but I also don't believe in coincidences. I'm big on synchronicity, so I was supposed to meet them. How to stop caring what people think on a subconscious level? So again, I think it just comes down to understanding that you're going to care what people think. That's just part of human nature, but you can't please everyone. You cannot please every group of people. So the approval of one group of people comes with the disapproval of another group of people. Let's say politically, for example, if you are a liberal, then you aren't going to get along with, this is not necessarily true, but generally, if you're a liberal, you're going to be on the wrong side of a lot of conservatives. And if you're a conservative, you're going to be on the wrong side of a lot of liberals. So you can't please everyone. And honestly, between that and what I was saying earlier with getting over somebody that you still have feelings for or are in love with, a lot of this is really more about reframing the situation and just understanding it from a bird's eye view and recognizing that, okay, there are factors here that I cannot change. For example, the feeling that I have is not something that I can change, but how I perceive the feeling in the context of my overall life, that's something I can change. So allow yourself to feel the feeling. Stop denying yourself the right to feel like you want the approval of other people. It's okay to want that. Healthy even to want that. But at the same time, once you acknowledge it and you stop trying to suppress it, you can manage it in a more useful way, in a way that serves you in pursuit of your goals. Sign me on the roster, bro. Listen, I might try out for a 10-day contract, bro. Maybe that's my ticket to LA. Unbelievable. Why can't I see your full name? Unbelievable Memories? Is that what it is? I can't see your full name for whatever reason, but I appreciate. Oh my God. Let me try that again. I appreciate the donation, bro. I appreciate the donation. Let me heart that real quick. This vid motivated. I'm glad that I'm able to provide motivation and inspiration, bro. Because that's literally all I want to do, is just help other people achieve their goals and achieve mine in the process. I had a purpose before anyone had an opinion. Icy 3K, I might have to steal that one, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I might have to steal that one. That's the scary thing about life, is you dream so big, but you might achieve nothing, or you don't leap and achieve nothing. That's the thing. So the worst that can happen if you don't take the leap, well, the worst that can happen if you do take the leap is that you just end up back where you started. But let me say this. Something else that I forgot to add earlier is that when you find a bridge, when you learn how to create a bridge for yourself, or you find somebody who knows how to build a bridge between where you are and where you want to go, it makes the leap of faith much less intimidating. So that's basically what I'm doing with my coaching program. Link in the description. Is I'm helping people build that bridge between where they are and where they want to go, so that although it is still a leap of faith, although that chasm is still there, if you fall off that bridge, then you still fall off that bridge. You're still going to experience all of the downsides to come with that. You're much less likely to fall into that gap because you are walking across a bridge rather than jumping across a cliff or a gap that is actively getting bigger with every moment. Is that making sense to you? Does that make sense? Basically, let me say it like this, because I know it just sounds like I'm trying to sell my coaching program, but even if you don't want to buy my coaching program, that's fine. Let me put it to you like this, okay? Basically, the bridge represents the information that you currently lack. So if you knew, let's say with the YouTube example from earlier, if you knew definitively how to become a full-time YouTuber, it wouldn't be much of a risk, would it? It wouldn't be much of a risk because you already know what to do. It'd be no more of a risk than you going to the gym and lifting weights to get in good shape. It's not a risk because you know what you need to do. Now, the key is you have to find people who know what to do, because if you are a beginner, you don't know what to do. You can also just do trial and error, or you can do like I did and just take the leap. But understand that when you take that leap, and you take enough of them, eventually, you might not make it. You might not make it to that next gap. And that is what happened to me, and that shit set me back years. And that's when I truly began to understand the value of finding people who know shit that you don't know. Or to find coaching or mentorships or whatever. Again, this doesn't have to be mine. But find people that know things that you don't know about the thing that you need to know about to get to where you want to go. Let me know if that's not making any sense, and I can explain it in a different way. The only con in being in a relationship is the potential of breaking up. I agree. I agree. That's basically, but then it's like, to me, I don't see breakups as a bad thing because if you're breaking up with somebody, it's for a reason. It's for a reason, and at least from my experience, I've only had one breakup, and I would preferably like to keep it that way. But with that situation, the breakup gave me closure because it was like, okay, we tried and it didn't work, and so can move on from there. So even that isn't necessarily a con because it doesn't mean that the relationship failed. It's just, hey, we tried, didn't work, but now we know more about ourselves. Now we can proceed from there. Doesn't mean that it hurts any less, but yeah. Advice for shy guys for cold approaching women and how to start off a conversation with them. So here's my thing. I'm not very big on cold approaching, bro. I'm really not. And I say this as somebody who's done a decent amount of cold approaching, mostly for content purposes. But the thing is, I don't like the idea of cold approaching because the word cold in and of itself means that you are approaching somebody with whom you have no foundational connection, right? So let's say, for example, if you're just walking down the street and you just see a girl that you think looks good, just because she looks good doesn't mean that you have anything in common with her at all. I think that's the first mistake that a lot of guys make in approaching women is that you're just approaching the wrong kinds of women. This is literally the biggest revelation I ever had about dating, by the way, is that it's not about you not being good enough. It's not about girls just not fucking with you or whatever. It's that you have shitty taste in women and you don't know how to go about filtering out your options so that you're only interacting with women that you actually have things in common with. Now, here's what I would recommend as an alternative to cold approaching. And I say this as somebody who is extremely shy, by the way. Little less shy than I was when I was younger, but I would advise you to focus on doing things that you love to do. Okay, so literally, let's say, for example, I'm going to use this example because this is something that I used to do a lot. I like watching sunsets. That's just something that I enjoy doing with my free time. So what I used to do was I would go to this hill, this little spot somewhat near my parents' house, and I would watch the sunset on that hill. And first I would watch it from my car. Then I started standing outside of my car, maybe leaning on the hood of my car watching it. Then I started walking over to the little grassy area and sitting down on the hill by myself, right? And guess what happened? Twice, actually. Well, no, more than twice. 3 times. 3 days in a row this happened. I'm probably gonna need to tell this story again sometime in the near future because this is one of the craziest things that ever happened to me. But 3 days in a row, people came up to me and asked if they could sit with me, and they started talking with me. In other words, they came to me. 2 of those days, they were girls. 1 of those days, the girl wanted my number. Right? So understand that a lot of times is more about putting yourself in a position where people can come to you. People can come to you. Or if you're going to go to them, it becomes much easier to start a conversation because you already have a common interest. And you know you have a common interest because you're both doing this thing. You can talk about sunsets. There's your starting point. People who like sunsets generally also like certain types of music because they maybe tend to be introspective people who are sensitive and appreciate they appreciate the simple things in life. So, I mean, it's little things like that when you pursue your interests, you already have these commonalities. That's where the conversation occurs. That's where the conversation occurs. I'm 21 years old. My mom got stage 4 cancer diagnosis a few years ago. I moved to LA a little over a month ago. I live in my car. I left home to chase my dreams. I can't help but feel guilty. First of all, I'm sorry to hear that happened with your mom, bro. I mean, I don't... Is she still alive? I'm assuming that maybe that's why you feel guilty, because maybe she's still alive and recovering from her cancer or still struggling with her cancer. I don't think that that's bad though. Let me put it to you like this, okay? Assuming that your mom is still here, which I hope that she is, Meme Factory PD, you probably know very, very clearly now that she's not going to be here forever. You're not going to be here forever either, but you know she's not going to be here forever. And I believe that it's embedded within all of us to want to make our parents proud. And so I know that things might not be going your way right now, living in your car in LA. I know all about that. Best believe I know about living in the car in LA, sleeping at the Planet Fitnesses and all of that, going up in the hills and just looking at the view and wondering how the fuck things came to this. I know about that, okay? But what you need to understand is that right now, your story is still being written. And when you get to the end of your life, will your story be worth reading? That's the real question. And ideally, sometime in the near future, sometime before you lose your mom, assuming that she's still here, because look, the way that life typically goes is that we lose our parents. Our parents don't lose us. That's the way that it's supposed to go. By the time your parents leave this earth, will you have done the things that you wanted to do? Because if you do that, that will be the best chance of making I'm sure your mom is already very proud of you, by the way. I hope she is. But basically what I'm trying to say, bro, is that you chasing your dreams is a good thing. That's a good thing because you want to give her the chance to see you accomplish them. And I just lost my place in the chat. One day, one meal, one bite at a time? Yes, sir. You already know, bro. Shout out to my guy, Jacob. What's your favorite Dutch meal? That's a good question. At Albert Heijn, they have these vegan freaking dough broodjes. Those slap. I don't know if that qualifies as a meal though, but yeah. Thanks for answering my question about the cons of a relationship. I see so many relationships on my friends' end because they don't work out. So I'm very cautious, maybe too cautious. I completely understand where you're coming from, Hummel. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but I completely understand where you're coming from with that. Now, let me say this, bro, because I feel like a lot of people, yourself included, based on what you're telling me, have this idea about failure that doesn't really serve them in their lives. So let's forget about relationships for a second and let's think about business, right? Let's say you start a business today. The average business fails after, I think, 7 years. I want to say it was something like 80% of businesses fail after 7 years, okay? If you ran a business successfully for 7 years and then it failed, are you a failure? No, you're not. You're a success. You have evolved as a person exponentially through that process. You have to have evolved through that process to have operated a business for that long. Even if your business failed after 7 months, you learned. You experienced things that forced you to grow in order to overcome them. And maybe you came up against a challenge that you weren't equipped yet. You weren't prepared to overcome. You weren't ready for that next level of growth, and that's okay. that doesn't make you a failure. That doesn't mean that you wasted your time, because you are the asset that you're building. Shout out to Alex Hermosi for that quote. You are the asset that you're building. When you take that approach to life, what you understand is that failure is not a bad thing. There's no such thing as failure. There's just trial and error. That's it. Relationships are the same way. A lot of men, especially in this day and age, especially when it comes to marriage, a lot of men don't believe in marriage because the divorce rates are so high. And my thing is this: if you're married to somebody for 20 years and you get a divorce, that doesn't mean that that relationship was a failure at all. I think that's a very, very cynical way of looking at life. And one thing that I've learned is that cynicism doesn't serve you in life. It doesn't. It doesn't. It may shield you from the understanding that you're not living up to your potential in life because you're afraid to embrace challenges and you're afraid to pursue things that may not go the way that you like. But in terms of actually reaching your potential as a person, which if you watch my channel, I know that that's something you're interested in, doesn't really serve you very well, right? So I understand your caution, but you need to understand, bro, that with relationships, I mean, bro, if you're with the right person, then you're going to evolve through that process. Even if you're with the wrong person, you're going to evolve through that process. And if it doesn't work out, you've still elevated. Nothing is lost. You get a divorce, you lose your money. Okay, you can get the money back because you became the person who could get it. So, I don't know. That's my that's my little rant about that. I've been holding that in for a long time. Maybe I'll make a whole video about that, bro, about my views on business and marriage and things of that nature. Because I think people are so, they allow this fear of failure to dictate their lives. But ironically, in doing so, they guarantee the fulfillment of the one thing that they fear the most, which is failure. Again, if you don't take the leap, if you stay on this cliff right here, on this side of the gap, then you've already failed. You've already failed. You didn't even give yourself the chance to succeed. How to overcome financial anxiety. That's a difficult one. That's a very, very difficult one. I would say that it really comes down to understanding. The reason why you're anxious is because you are missing information. Maybe you don't know enough about how money works, for one, or you don't know enough about your financial situation. So one thing I would recommend you do is go on Google Sheets, and I want you to track every single transaction that you make this year. Every transaction. I don't care if it's 20 cents or $20,000. Track every transaction. I've been doing this since 2018 actually. No. I think since 2016, since I started working at IHOP. So since I was 16 years old, I've been doing this. Track all of your expenses. And what this does is it gives you a better sense of control over your financial situation. Because you can see the patterns. You can see, okay, I'm spending too much money on this. I'm spending too little money on this. And you can adjust accordingly. And also, I have a video coming out in the near future about money that I think should help you out quite a bit. But you need to understand, in the meantime, that money is just energy. Money is literally just energy. So do I have my... Okay, I think I have some coins here. I should have some little euro coins, whatever. Yeah, okay. So, I have my little bag of coins right here. Right? You have this. You have this. Okay. So this right here is 5 cents, right? This is what is it? Yeah, this is 5 cents. This is 10 cents. Okay. What makes this more valuable than this? What makes it more valuable than this right here? How is it more valuable? What makes it more valuable? What makes it more valuable is your perception of it. You have agreed that is more valuable, that the 10 cents is more valuable than the 5 cents. You've agreed that the number 10 is more valuable than the number 5. I'm saying this to say that money is literally just perspective. So if you make an agreement with yourself that, let's say, for example, money doesn't grow on trees, then that's how you're going to live your life. You're going to live your life according to that agreement, even though it doesn't serve you and it's objectively false, because money is literally made from trees. It's paper. Of course, coins aren't, but paper money is. Money is literally a concept in your head. It's an agreed upon medium of exchange of value. So instead of thinking about how you can make more money, how you can get more money, whatever, start thinking about how you can offer more value. Because if you offer more value, then based on the agreement that you've made about money itself, you are going to get more money in return. You're going to get more money in return. So focus on providing value and just having knowledge about your situation. How do you know if your love is real? That's a very good question. And I don't think that there's one definitive answer. I don't think that there's a specific moment where you know it's real. I think it's more that over time, you see that this person truly wants you to win, and their actions back that up. It's not just their words, but their actions. I remember, this is when I knew, I kind of just lied because I said that there usually isn't a definitive moment, but in my relationship there was. This is when I knew that I had to get my girlfriend off the market, right? This is when I knew that, okay, I cannot allow somebody else to get her. Like, I have to make sure that she is my girlfriend, because we were talking on the phone one day. This would have been around October 2022, so about a month before we started dating. Maybe one of the first times we talked on the phone, actually. September or October 2022. At the time, I was going broke. I wasn't broke yet, but I was going broke. I think I had just gotten rid of my BMW, and I had to pay $5,600. Literally, my whole entire savings. I had to clear my savings out to make up the difference between what I owed on the BMW and what they were giving me for it. So in other words, I was broke, right? And I told my girlfriend about this. We weren't dating at the time yet, but I told her about this because I was like, okay, I don't know why I told her. I guess I just trusted her because we had already known each other for so many years, and she was just the person that I had always been open about my struggles with, emotional, financial, whatever, it didn't matter. And I told her that shit's not looking good for me right now. I mean, that's basically what I said. It's like, shit is not looking too good for me right now. And yeah, I don't know how much detail I went into. Hold on real quick. Make sure this stream is good. Seems like this is lagging a bit. Am I good? Okay, anyways. Basically, to make a long story short, she told me, ad verbatim, I will sleep at the bottom of the dumpster with you. And when she told me that, instantly I was like, okay, this is the one. This is definitely, because when you're with somebody, I guess that's kind of the answer to the question right there, is when somebody stays by your side, or better yet, doubles down when you're at your lowest moments, that's how you know that your love is real. Hey, remember me? I'm Mr. Dawson. I've been subscribed since June 2020. Bro, how could I ever forget you, Mr. Dawson? Mr. Dawson, I appreciate the donation, bro. Mr. Dawson here. Quick question. Does semen retention help with manifestation? By the way, I've been subscribed since June 2020. I already know you've been subscribed since June 2020 because I remember we used to have debates about the red pill in my comments back in the day. I remember very vividly, bro. And I do appreciate the continued support, and I appreciate the donation. So here's the thing with that. I don't necessarily think that there's a direct correlation between the two, but let me put it like this, okay? What semen retention does is when you make a commitment to yourself to do this thing and you hold true to that commitment, you build a sense of trust within yourself. When you build trust within yourself, that trust is basically confidence. It's just another word for confidence, meaning that you believe that you are likely to be able to accomplish a task. And when it comes to manifestation, part of it is the belief in yourself, for one. But another part of it is the action. You have to take action. And you're much more likely to take the action you need to take if you believe that the action is going to pay off. But you'll only believe that the action is going to pay off if you trust yourself. So semen retention is just one way of building up that trust, but it's far from the only way. And also, it can help because you are eliminating the distraction of dating and women, or I guess not so much. It's more if you're a person who is, for lack of a better term, a thought. If you're just a thought and you're just out here running wild in the streets, just knocking shit down, running your body count up, whatever, that could be perceived in multiple different ways. But basically, if you're just thoughting, right, that's going to halt your blessings, bro, because you're literally spending the time that you should be spending working on your goals doing that. And then on top of that, when we talk about the energetic aspect of it, the spiritual aspect of it, what does, how do I put this? What does your seed do? What does it do, right? It creates life. Not by itself. It doesn't create life by itself, but it is a catalyst for life. We know this. This is factual. How do I know this is factual? Because we're here. Okay, we all came from somewhere. We didn't come from the stork. We came from, okay, we know where we came from. So, bearing that in mind, when you take that energy, the life force energy that literally creates conscious, intelligent life, and you redirect it toward a vision that you have in your mind, you are basically giving energy to that vision so that you can bring it to life. That's the esoteric, spiritual side of it. However you want to look at it, it does help, but it's not necessary, if that makes sense. Hey, keep doing the great work. Eric, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I appreciate that. Jordan, how did you get so wise? Here's the thing. Okay, I think I made a video recently. Yeah, I did. I posted the video recently called I Don't Have All the Answers. And in the video, I say that knowledge is the answers that you have. Wisdom is the questions that you ask. Basically, I'm just a very curious person. I don't know everything. I'm just giving my best input based on my experiences and my observation of other people's experiences. That's the key right there. That's the key, is that because I desire certain things, I make it my mission to figure out how to go about acquiring those things, or I figure out what it takes to get there. So basically all my channel is, all my coaching sessions are, all any of this is me synthesizing the information that I have gathered from other people who are in positions that I find admirable and that you very likely find admirable too. So I'm sourcing out these common denominators between all of these successful people, and I'm taking that, I'm measuring that up against my own life experiences and documenting the process of me doing that. I'm documenting myself applying those common denominators in my own life and helping you do the same. So if it seems like I'm a wise person, that's really all it is that I just ask a lot of questions. I'm a curious person. I'm a very curious person. Obsessive, actually, is maybe a better word. Lakers got Luka for AD. Wow, bro, I'm not gonna lie, that's still crazy to me, bro. I can't wait to see how LeBron and Luka are gonna play together. It's probably not gonna work out very well, but it'd be fun to watch at least. But let me say this, bro. I feel like I see what the NBA is trying to do now. They're trying to prop up this Luka versus Jason Tatum rivalry with the Lakers and Celtics rivalry. That's really what they're looking to do. I'm not saying it's scripted, but read between the lines. Jordan, did you and your girlfriend start as friends? We did. We were friends since November 4th, 2018. That's when she reached out to me on Snapchat for the first time. We didn't start dating until November 11th, 2022. So we were friends for 4 years, and then we were long distance for... How long were we long distance for? November... Okay, wait. That's about 13 months. We were long distance for almost a year, maybe 9 or 10 months. I've been hitting the gym again consistently. You motivated me to get back at it. Bro, that's what I like to hear, bro. Keep doing that. One day at a time, one set at a time, one rep at a time. And hold that vision in your mind, bro. Hold that vision of what you want to look like, how you want to feel in your mind. Bro, is it necessary to get the validation of women? Because my boys always make fun of me for getting no women. Well, first of all, you might just need to find some new friends, bro. You might need to find some new friends. But aside from that, I said this earlier in the stream, but basically, because I don't know if you were here when I said it, so I'm going to just say it again. Basically, it's natural for us as humans to want approval from other humans. It's embedded within us biologically. It's a survival mechanism, and it's not a bad thing. That's how communities are formed. But at the same time, what you need to understand is that you can't get the approval of everyone. So that also applies to women. You might be the coolest, finest man on earth to some women. And some other women might think you're the lamest guy on earth. And that's just what it is. And if you tried to appease that second group, maybe that first group would start thinking that you're the lamest guy on earth. Because different women have different tastes. Different women are into different things. Just like you and I may have different tastes. Not just in women, but in everything. I'm eating these peanut butter and jelly sandwiches right now. Some people might find this shit nasty. Some people don't like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's just what it is. Focus on being yourself and getting validation from the right women. That's the key. It's not about trying to remove that mechanism from your mind. It's about utilizing it for your benefit. It holds you accountable for being yourself. Daniel, I appreciate the donation yet again, bro. My man got some bread on him. Love to see it. I believe that I manifested my current new car by visualization. Why does visualization help? That's a really good question. So I'm a very big proponent of visualization, first of all. I believe that the reason why visualization helps is because when you visualize something, you tend to feel the feeling much more thoroughly, right? So I used to visualize being in a relationship when I was single. I would listen to love songs and I would literally visualize myself being in a relationship, visualize myself doing my trivial day-to-day tasks with this mystery woman. And because I embedded that feeling I used that feeling to communicate to my subconscious mind that that vision that I was holding was already real. So that's really where visualization becomes effective, is when you can convince your subconscious mind that you already have that thing. And, well, let me keep going with that first. So when you convince your subconscious mind that you already have something, your subconscious mind is going to act in accordance with the belief that it has now developed. Meaning that your actions subconsciously are going to change. It might be subtle. It might be something as simple as the way that you carry yourself. Maybe you walk just a little bit taller, with a little more confidence in your stride. Maybe you choose to wear the nice clothes instead of the ripped up clothes and clothes that don't really convey this image that you have of yourself in your mind. In other words, your subconscious mind is going to work to close the gap, and it's going to use you as the vehicle. So it feels like something is true. It sees in its reality that something is not true. So one of the two has to change. Now, when you hold the vision strong enough, long enough, the outer world has to change. It has to conform to what's going on in here. It has to. Will it happen by itself? No. You're going to make it happen, but it's going to happen subconsciously, because 95% of the actions that you take on a day-to-day basis are subconscious. Now, another explanation is that visualization activates your reticular activating system. So what does that mean? Basically, your reticular activating system is the part of your brain that's responsible for goal setting and pattern recognition. So you said that you manifested a car. Let's say, for example, the car is a Tesla. Right? I don't know what type of car it is, but let's say it's a Tesla, right? When you start visualizing a Tesla, the first thing you're going to notice is that you start to see more Teslas out on the street. You start to see more of them. You might even see them in that same color. You're like, damn, I'm seeing a lot of blue Teslas now. That's exactly like the one that I visualized. Why does that happen? It happens because you are priming that part of your brain, the goal-setting part of your brain, to seek that out. So all of this is happening automatically. All of this happens automatically. So you start spotting more opportunities, which, by the way, is why it's important to visualize your success in terms of your career and in terms of your dating life. Is because when you open your mind to the possibility, or not even the possibility, but when you convince your mind that it's already real, your mind's going to close the gap. Your reticular activating system is going to start seeking out opportunities to close the gap between your internal reality and your external reality. And as long as you hold on to the vision, your external reality is going to be the one to bend to the will of the internal reality, not the other way around. Because what happens to a lot of people is that they lose sight of that inner vision, so their internal reality changes to accommodate their external reality. And that's why they get stuck in life. It's because they're waiting for their outer world to change. They're waiting to see it before they start to believe it. But if you do that, you'll be waiting forever. So yeah, that's my personal explanation for it. Jordan, you passed my question 3 times, so let me get you right, bro. Let me get you right. Was it this one? Hi, Jordan. Is it healthy to handle every friendship and possible romantic relationship by being emotionally prepared for the possibility that they'll all leave me because they have in the past? For comparison, you try everything to make sure your house doesn't burn down, but fire department still exists, right? Okay. So I think that it is good to understand that even if a relationship lasts forever, life itself is temporary. Life itself is temporary. So even if you meet the love of your life tomorrow, your life's going to end. Either your life is going to end first or their life is going to end first. But unless you both die at the same time, one of you is going to have to live without the other one at some point or another. So I think that it's good to understand that, but at the same time, you have to learn to balance that with being present in the moment. Because if you're just operating from a standpoint of fear, that's not going to serve you in any aspect of your life, especially relationships. It's kind of like, again, with the business example, if you start a business with the internal or emotional belief that, okay, this business is probably going to fail, there's an 80% chance it's going to fail, what do you think is going to happen? That you're going to subconsciously push the business off the edge. You're going to start making subtle decisions that add up over time and ultimately lead to the failure of the business. The same applies to relationships. So basically what I'm saying is that the belief itself is not false. It's not untrue that your relationships will all come to an end, because life itself comes to an end. Whether the relationships persist beyond that, hey, I don't know. That's up to you and your belief systems. And I'm not here to infringe upon that. But at the same time, while you're here, it serves you to make the most of the relationships while you have them. Make the most of these relationships while you have them. Be present. All right. Mr. Dawson, Daniel, he just got a new car. Is he going to keep that car for the rest of his life? No, he's not. But is he going to let that prevent him from enjoying every time he turns that car on? I would hope not. Jordan, you passed my recent question too. The artist, I got you. Hi Jordan, thanks for the earlier advice. Do you ever fear that YouTube isn't a secure career long term? I also want to be a full-time artist in the future too, but I'm scared of AI ruining that. Any advice? Alright, so here's my thing with that. I feel like YouTube, depending on how you use it, is a really good stepping stone. So that's probably the biggest mistake that I made when I was younger, was I thought that I was just going to do YouTube for the rest of my life. I know better now. Unless you're going to be a Mr. Beast type of person, you're going to need to see a longer term play. For me, that's life coaching. I'm using YouTube as simply a platform to feed into my life coaching, because that's the thing that I actually want to do, is work with people like you directly. So by having a plan ahead of time, or by at least having some type of idea of what you want to do beyond YouTube, you can mitigate that fear. As far as being a full-time artist and AI ruining that, I mean, look, bro, I feel like what makes art what it is that it's imperfect. Art is imperfect because humans are imperfect. Therefore, we cannot create perfect art. AI is more or less perfect. Objectively speaking, it's more or less perfect. So it creates perfect art. So I don't think that AI could ever replace you as an artist, because as an artist, your biggest asset is the fact that you're human. But anyways, I'm going to answer 3 more questions and then I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. So 3 more questions. They got to be good ones. They have to be good questions. Get me talking. Get me rambling. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate the crap out of you, bro. I appreciate the crap out of you. You could be doing anything with your life right now and you're choosing to be here in this stream with me. I appreciate you, bro. Tips for a magician that has another daytime job but is trying to do magic full time. Thank you very much. Basically, the same advice applies. You're here. You're on this cliff. You see the life that you want on this cliff over here. In between these 2 cliffs, there's a gap. With every second that passes, the gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Meaning that, the sooner you jump, the less of a risk it will be. Okay? So, you need to take the leap of faith and pursue it full time, Because if you get to the end of your life without trying, at the very least, you're going to regret it. You are going to regret not having tried it. You have a day job, whatever. That's cool. You can get another one. You got this one, you can get another one. Okay, and if you just got this one by sheer luck and you really don't deserve to be at this job and you're afraid that you won't be able to get another one, then the truth is you're probably on a timer anyways and you don't even know it yet. Okay, so you need to take the leap of faith, but I'm not a magician, so I don't know shit about magic or how to really make that work in terms of a career, but I know that people do it. So what I would advise you to do is find as many of those people as you can and start creating a bridge between where you are and where you want to go. Or find someone that's already created a bridge like that for you ahead of time so that you can make that leap of faith more like a walk of faith. In other words, bro, find magicians who are successful, reverse engineer what they did to become successful, how they marketed their skills. I'd imagine that for aspiring magicians, social media is a very big component of their marketing strategy now. And just kind of just do what they did in your own way. How do you deal with feeling unattractive? Well, it really comes back to understanding that you are attractive to some people and you're unattractive to others. But I'm going to say this, okay? Your name is Michael Ford. I'm going to assume you're a guy. I don't know if you're into women, but let's assume that you are into women. Women are generally, from what I've observed, less superficial than men when it comes to attractiveness, physical attractiveness. I feel like women are more enamored with personality than men tend to be. So it's more about finding a woman that likes you for you. Either she finds you attractive or she doesn't. Right? That's the physical is what it is. You can do looks maxing and all of that, which I'd advise you to do. Work on your appearance. That's something you can do. You can start dressing better. You can start hitting the gym. But ultimately, you don't date. She's not going to be dating your physical appearance. She's going to be dating your personality. So start thinking in terms of what kind of woman you want to be with from a personality standpoint. And start putting yourself around those kinds of women. And what's going to happen is they're going to be attracted to you because you already have a lot of common ground. So again, all dating advice really comes down to choosing the right women. If you choose the right women, you don't have to worry about being unattractive because they'll be attracted to you. Remember, everybody has different tastes. Let's see. I think, one more question. One more. I'm only going to answer a question that I haven't answered yet, though. Okay, I think this is a good one right here. I'm a nobody in this life and matter to nobody. I know what I could and should do, but it seems like it's not really a point, and I had many near-death experiences and don't know why I couldn't just die. The reason why you couldn't just die is because you still have a lot of life left to live, and you still have a purpose that you need to fulfill. So the first thing that we need to do here is we need to help you establish a sense of purpose. Because if you're thinking that you don't matter to anybody, it's because you think that your life is meaningless, which is not. And I'm going to prove it to you, okay? Watch this. I'm about to shift your whole reality. And look, you might not understand what I'm saying yet, but just think about this once I end this stream, because it's the last question I'm answering. I want you, if you're near a window, to look outside of the window. All right, look at the natural environment. Look at the trees. If there are any trees near you, if you can see the sky, look at the sky. Look at anything natural. Okay? The grass even. Anything natural. And tell me what out there in nature does not serve some kind of purpose. Just think about this for a second. What in nature doesn't serve some kind of purpose? What in your body, what cells, all of your cells serve some kind of purpose. The sun serves a purpose. The moon serves a purpose. The ocean serves a purpose. The grass, the trees, everything serves a purpose. You are a part of the natural world. Therefore, you serve a purpose. The problem isn't that you don't have a purpose. The problem is that you don't know it yet. So now we're getting somewhere. Now we know that your life does have meaning. We know that your life does matter to other people. How do we know that? Because when we say it serves a purpose, that word choice is intentional. Everything serves a purpose. Its purpose is to serve everything else in its own unique way. So by you having a purpose, that means that, hold on, let me swallow this before I choke, bro. By you having a purpose, that means that you are naturally equipped to serve other people, which means that you are creating a net positive impact in this world by default. Okay, so think about it from that standpoint, that you have a purpose. Your purpose is meaningful. It's useful. You're useful as a person, fundamentally, because you exist. Because you are a part of the natural world, and everything in the natural world operates as a part of a system and a cycle where everything within the system or the cycle, all of the components within it, are all important. They're all valuable. So that's why you didn't die. That's why you didn't die. That's why you're still here. It's because you have a purpose that you need to fulfill. One last question from Levi Rose. Are you going to play GTA 6? If they drop it in our lifetimes, then... If they drop it in our lifetimes and you get me a... What do people play now? PS5? Is that the new console or whatever? I don't know. But you hook me up with the PC or whatever, and we could play, and I can kill you just like the old days and all that. Beat you in the races and everything. But... that said, I think it's about time for me to go ahead and end this stream. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. And again, if you're even remotely interested in receiving direct advice from me, if you want to access me, where instead of just spamming your question in the chat of my live stream, you can actually talk to me directly and ask me your questions basically face to face, just over the computer. Click the link in the description to learn more about my brand new coaching program. That said, I am going to go ahead and end the stream. And you know I don't do outros, so I'm just going to go ahead and click end.